All right, Joe Ducard here, and I want to talk to you today about a very important topic, and that is how to find balance. Okay, when you are starting out on a journey, you're trying to get in, let's say you're trying to get in shape, you're trying to get more women in your life, you're trying to be happier, you're trying to take your career to the next level. You know, most guys especially have many goals that they want to accomplish at once. And I've found myself actually very successful at keeping a very good balance of getting things done and achieving multiple goals at once. And there's definitely a time for when there's a great opportunity and you can, you can laser focus in on one thing and really get something accomplished. And if you have that opportunity, then I always like to say your effort should meet the opportunity. But in general, what I've found is that I'm going to break down 2 points in my life here. What I found is that having a good balance and scheduling things properly, you can really get a lot of things done and accomplish all of your goals and make progress on them at the same time. So I'm going to break it down to 2 parts of my life, my early 20s and what I do nowadays. Now, my early 20s is when I had my most growth that I ever had in my entire life. Okay, I just started getting into the working on the dating skills and self-development, and I did a few different things. And what I want to do is break down what I did, how I fit it in my schedule, and hopefully you can get some ideas how you could fit it into your schedule as well. So first we'll start out with my goals, okay? So in my early 20s, these were my goals, all right? My goals were to get in shape. I had over 100 pounds to lose. My goals were to make money. I definitely wanted to make some money. I wanted to educate myself. I had a lot to learn in my early 20s, okay? And what is the quote by Jim Rohn? You know, a formal education will, you have to look it up. I forgot the quote, but it's something like, a formal education will make you a career, but, self-education will make you whatever's better than a career. It'll make you a fortune or something like that. That was the quote. But, self-education, it was very big for this. And I was going to school as well, too. I'll talk about that. And obviously getting better with girls. That was a huge goal of mine. So these are my 4 main goals. Now, what I think you should do, I think you should pause this video right now and think of your overarching main goals in your life right now. What are they? They could be the same as mine, as they were, but you'll see nowadays my goals have changed. They're not going to be the exact same 4 goals. But, find out what your main goals are for your life, and then you could start to develop a game plan to accomplish those goals. Okay, so these are my goals, and then I want to go through my game plan and how I fit them in my week. So first was getting in shape. Like I said, I had a lot of weight to lose. Oop, that shouldn't be out there yet. Getting in shape is 2 things. It's diet and it's exercise. So as you saw this one, my main thing for a diet was to eat clean food made at home. Okay, so high protein, complex carbohydrates, whole wheat pasta, whole wheat bread, some veggies, things like that. And I made it all at home because when you go out to eat, they throw in sugar, they throw in fats, they throw in all that stuff. So making food at home not only saves money, but it's the best way to get into shape. So my diet was pretty in check. Eating, 4, 5, 6 meals a day of good, clean food. And exercise, okay? Back then I was doing more days of weight training. I was really enjoying it. So I do 4 days or more of weights. And with my weight training, I do opposing body parts. If I was doing chest, I do back with it. If I was doing biceps, I do triceps with it. I tried to, as much as I could. If I was doing legs, maybe I'd throw abs in there in between. I tried to have something where I could do a superset. So my workout could be quicker, but I could also go back and forth with a little rest. So I was getting some cardio and burning off more fat. And then after my weights, I would do high intensity cardio intervals. Okay, so instead of sitting on the elliptical for an hour, I'd sit on the bike for 20 minutes, and every 2 minutes, I'd pedal as fast as I could for 30 seconds, really burn my body out. That's shown to have tremendous effects on your hormones and also losing weight. So I'll talk about how I fit this all into my day, but this is what I would do for my exercise. Now, making money was another huge goal of mine. So my job back then was 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. We worked at this high-end furniture store where we do home deliveries, and they had a showroom and all this other stuff. And 9 to 5, I'd work Monday through Friday. Every now and then I'd take a Saturday for some extra pay, and I'd move furniture. I worked with a couple guys. We were moving stuff back and forth, organizing stuff. It was a physical job, but it paid decent for back in the day. Nowadays, it wouldn't be much, but back then, that's what I did. I had to do what I needed to do to make money. Okay, and the cool thing about it was I could get some education at work, which I'll talk about next here. So the education one is very big. So as you can see, education was one of, if not my main goal at this point in my life. Okay, educating myself was very huge. And how I did it, I'd put audio in the car. These were CDs. This was Tony Robbins. This was Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers. This was any book I can get my hands on to really go through in the car that I had on CDs. And then I would either read a book, or if back in the day I was using routines to talk to women, I would memorize my routines, have them printed out, bring them at lunch while I was eating my lunch. I would read and memorize those. Now I was also going to school as well, working on getting my associate's degree at the time. I was taking night classes, and I would take one in the morning every now and then. I'd go from a class from 7 a.m. till 9 a.m. and then I'd show up like a little bit later to work, because my school was actually very close to work at that point, which was convenient. So I did what it took to get that in. iPod books, so books and audios and interviews, David D'Angelo and Mystery and all these, and more Tony Robbins if I could. I was getting all that stuff in on iPod. I would listen to that in headphones at work while I was moving furniture. I'd listen to it in the car if I could as well. But it was very big I would do at work. Sometimes I'd bring them into the gym and listen to them while I was at the gym as well too. I was a freaking information junkie. I was like a sponge. This was one of those opportunities where I had the capacity to really learn. I had a mental capacity to learn and get in information. So I stuffed in as much information as I could. I could not do this nowadays. It was too much info. But back then, I was trying to teach myself. I didn't have a coach. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have that many friends. So I had to really make virtual friends and get all the lessons I could from these educational resources. I would also read and research at night. YouTube was barely around back then, but if there was, I would watch a little bit of YouTube videos if it was out there. But it was mostly reading and any products that I had bought and things like that at night. Maybe writing out my own routines and scripts and doing a lot of self-reflection as well too. And yeah, man, a big part about this time, this was around 2007. This was before smartphones, right? We did not have apps, and we weren't glued to our phones as much back then. There was no Instagram and Snapchat, and like I said, YouTube wasn't even that big. Me and my father, when we were living together at this point, I did not have cable, okay? I mean, we didn't watch TV barely at all, maybe occasional movie here and there. But I was devoted myself to education. I actually kind of missed these times where I could just educate myself, and there were not many distractions. People weren't even texting very much back then. So super cool time. That was an opportunity, like I said, to really get in a lot of information. And boy, did I pack it in back then. And then obviously another huge goal of mine was to get girls, right? And the way I did that was usually Tuesday nights was a college night where I was from. So I could usually get out on every Tuesday. Thursday nights weren't as busy, but I could get out. 100% without a doubt Friday and Saturday night. Even when I was seeing someone, I would still get out Friday and Saturday night, because those are the prime nights to really get out and get as many approaches in as I can. I do 2 to 4 hours a night, really getting out there. Sundays I would get in as well if I could. And there were times even in the summer where there were summer bars open where I was from. The beach was popular in the summer, so I would get out Monday, I'd get out Wednesday, I'd get out 7 nights a week sometimes in the summer if I could. I was so obsessed with going out, and I'd go out, I'd put in the work. When I'd come back home, I'd either debrief with my wingman on the drive home, or I'd journal. I was very big on journaling, man. I have so many written notes and feedback, right? Because all that education and the information I was getting, I would have to go through that, go out and put in the field work, right? And then reflect after. This is what I tell guys, right? Get your education, preferably, you pay a really good mentor and get the right information instead of going through all the bullshit that I did. Then you go out, you take lots of action, lots of approaches. I try to do over 20 approaches a night if I could. And then after, I debrief and journal and then wield through the information. Eventually, I started taking in a lot less info, because as I got better, I saw a lot of this info was bad. And I started getting my info from friends, which I'll talk about later. And I just spent more time going out and debriefing and started to work through things myself. And that's how I developed my own methods and things that work really well. But in my early 20s, man, my whole day was packed with working on these goals. I was obsessed with these goals. And now that I think about it, man, I was pretty happy, dude. I was very happy. I was very focused. I had a lot of purpose. And it was cool, man. Being busy was awesome, dude. Like, I would wake up in the morning and either do that morning class, or I'd go straight to work, listening to the audio on the way to work, right? After work, that's when I'd go to the gym and do my workout then. Then I'd come home and do more information, eat my good food, and I'd go out at night. I'd repeat the whole thing. My whole day was devoted to changing, because I noticed in my early 20s, to be the man that I wanted to be, I had to do a lot of work. And I did, and I really did. And I made a massive change. And I fit all of this into my schedule. You know, there wasn't a lot of fluff and a lot of bullshit. And my goals were so important to me. I didn't have that many friends. I had to work on making them. So I didn't have the luxury of friends or distractions and other things like that. So I just devoted my time to making myself better. And it was a very, very huge point in time for me. So let's go to nowadays. And nowadays my goals have changed a bit. Some are similar, but some have changed. So my main goals are making money. That one's still there. Exercise and being in shape is still there. The girls part is still there. But happiness is here. And let's see what that took place of. What was it back then? Get girls, money, get shape. Oh, education I had back then. I don't have a category for education here. Now I do definitely educate myself a bunch. And I will talk about how I do that in a minute. But happiness has become a huge goal of mine, because I've seen that even if I'm not a gazillionaire, or even if I'm not with, you know, have the million girls around, or even if I don't have an 8-pack or whatever these crazy audacious goals are that we set for ourselves, I realize that life is a journey, and I'm going to be working on something even when I get those goals, right? Once I was able to get the skills with women and have good times with them, there was other goals that I found I wanted. So knowing that, I don't want happiness to be a fleeting destination. I don't want happiness to be somewhere where, okay, when I get that job or I make X amount of money and I'm a millionaire. I'll tell you what, man, I still have friends that say, oh, you know, I got to be a millionaire, and I got to launch a business that crushes it. And if I'm not crushing it, I'm not happy. Like, I still know friends that are even in their late 30s that still feel that way. And that scares me so much, going through your whole life and striving and working at a job you hate and saying, oh, one day I'll enjoy my life. Dude, you got to enjoy your life now. So happiness is so important to me. And I try to, you know, have my goals be in line with what makes me happy. But we'll break all that down. So nowadays I have a few things I do. I do some paid advertising and online marketing to sell products for other people, doing affiliate marketing. And I haven't been doing it much in the last couple of months. I just got back into it this week. I did it a lot last year. And how that goes into my schedule is that's something that I'll do in the morning and I'll do at night. Now, morning, I do the deep work, okay? I wake up, I'll do my meditation, have my water, stretch or whatever. But when I get on my computer, I'm going to do my hardest, most focused and concentrated work for the first few hours of my day. And that's when I get the most done. Now, deep work is putting my phone on Do Not Disturb, keeping it out of hand's reach, getting all my messengers out of the way, and really locking in and focusing on my work. So that I really like to get deep in on the morning. And then at night, I'll usually go back in and check out how my campaigns are doing and spend a little bit more time working at night. And if anything I don't accomplish in the morning, I'll do it later on in the evening as well. This will be sometime after 5 usually. I like to be done by 9, but I usually take the midday off to do my exercise and other things like that. Now, when I'm doing marketing and I have campaigns live, these campaigns run 7 days a week. So this is something I have to do 7 days a week. And even if I'm not maybe launching new ones or being too busy with it, I still have to check my campaigns every morning and every night, seven days a week. So that one is a lot of work. But yeah, when it's going well, it's worth it. And then my true passion is coaching. So with the coaching, there's 2 parts to it. There's me just giving the free value that I like to give to you guys, like I do in this video here. And the part is, you know, working with my paid coaching clients. Now, the first part of giving value and my focuses are my Facebook group. I like to pop in there every day and see the questions, answer what I can, make posts in there, give some value for you guys. Videos, I try to get at least a video a week. That's my main goal. So I'm recording a video right now for you guys. It's about 5 p.m. or so on Monday. I should be releasing this video tomorrow. And, you know, I like videos and I like, you know, doing this type of stuff and presenting to you because it's the best way for me to give you guys value, you know, if I had all the money in the world, I'd still like my whole thing. If I had all the money and all the freedom in the world, yeah, I'd travel a bit and I'd spend time with family and friends, but I would devote my entire life to just giving value, and I do have some money saved up now, which is cool. And the more money I have saved up and the more I don't, need to be paycheck to paycheck, the more I enjoy giving value and giving back to people. That's one of my main goals. So that's how I like to do it. Podcasts, I get on other people's podcasts and stuff and work with other people as well too. So that's how I like to give value. And then my paid coaching, which is taking phone calls with students. I'm working on now developing a group call program, which will be pretty cool. And then obviously my live coaching. And if I do live coaching, it's very intensive. It's usually 3 days over the course of a weekend, or if I have a one-on-one client, and it's all day, it's all night. It's winds up being 20 to 30 hours of coaching over 3 days if I do a weekend program. And man, it's a lot of work. So sometimes if I do a live coaching program, my next week may be all happiness stuff and exercise. Okay. I may not eat, I may take a week off or a few days off from work after I do a very intensive live coaching weekend. Now we got my exercise as well, which is still important. I'm down to 3 days a week with weights. My joints aren't as resilient as they used to be. So 6 days a week with weights is way too much for me. 3 times a week is plenty. I lift hard, I lift intense. I know how to work my muscles. And it's only about a half hour on each workout. Half hour, 3 times a week. I like to do it midday. Okay, so it's in a break between this morning and night. I like to get out around 2 p.m. There's not that many people at the gym. Get my workouts in Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now for diet, what I've been doing recently has been very simple, and it's been working like crazy. I have a little bit of muscle. Sure, I'd like to build a little more, but I'd rather drop fat at this point. So what I've been doing is eating paleo. You can email me. I have a chart that shows you just the basics of things to follow. I found a really cool chart that I saved. Just email me at joe@joeducard.com and say, hey man, can you send me that paleo chart? I'll be happy to send it to you. It's also in my Facebook group, where you can go on Facebook and type in Next Level Man and join my group. And the chart's in there as well too. But the chart's simple: clean, whole food sources, nothing with more than 5 ingredients. Usually just something that's 1 ingredient is what you're going to eat. And then I eat when I'm hungry. And if I'm not hungry, I don't eat. And if I work out and I'm really hungry, I eat more. That's pretty much it. I'm eating very intuitively, but I'm eating very clean sources of foods. And I'll tell you what, clean, organic, and superfoods and whatever not, kimchi and chia seeds and sweet potatoes and lots of veggies and all that good stuff. Man, I've been getting in awesome shape, so I'm really excited about that. But it's very simple. You're gonna eat anyway, so you might as well eat clean food and exercise, man. 3 times a week, half hour. Everybody can make that happen. I don't care how busy you are. Happiness, man. I got a lot in here. I got a lot for happiness, dude. Happiness is such a focus for me because I know I read a book called The Happiness Advantage. It was a super cool book. And what it said was that the more happy you are, the more money you make. The more happy you are, the less stress you have, the better shape you'll get in. I find the more happy you are, the more girls you'll connect with. Okay? So happiness is just a pillar and a foundation. And I want to go through my life happy. Okay? I've struggled with depression before, many times in the past, anxiety and things like that. And happiness is just so important to me. So I like to use my hobbies as happiness. One thing I got into recently was fishing, freshwater fishing. I absolutely love it. I try to go at least once a week, if not a few times a week. I like to do it on Sunday, even though a lot of people go fishing on Sunday, so it's busy. Sometimes I may sneak out in the middle of the day and go during the week. But fishing is cool because it gets me into nature. I like to go hiking and spend time in nature and check out natural landmarks that I can. I live in a pretty warm city, which is cool, with a lot of nature around. And fishing is cool because it's an active way to be into nature. It's like an active meditation. Entertainment is big. Back in the day, like I said, I was, if we go back, my whole thing was all self-development. I was so deep in self-development. But I got really burnt out on this after a while. And I got so deep into the self-development that I lost all these hobbies. I have more as well, photography. I did a photo shoot yesterday with my buddy. It came out really cool. I got a new headshot. But yeah, I lost all my hobbies because I was so focused on becoming better that I got rid of all my hobbies. But now with my happiness, I've kind of got back into my hobbies. And one of them is entertainment. I like to go on YouTube and watch. I'm very into the UFC. I watch UFC videos, weightlifting, fishing videos, and also with YouTube, I get a lot of education. Okay, if there's ever anything that I want to learn, I love getting it off of YouTube, man. I'm a big fan of YouTube, and I like watching movies, TV shows if it's a good TV show. I can really get a bang for my buck if I can go out with my friends and watch the movies. That's really cool. And when I watch UFC, I try to always have a friend with me. We go and watch it at a bar or something like that. And I try to make things as social as possible because socializing is super huge for me. And I'll get to that in 1 second. Guitar I really love. I like to take a break from work and have my guitar in the living room. I just pick up the guitar and jam a little bit. In the evenings, it's a fun thing to do as well, too. I like to just play it when I want to. And every now and then, I like to learn a new song. If I hear a cool song on the radio, I'm like, man, I like that song. Or hear a cool rock song or something like that, I go home and I look up the tabs and I learn it and I play it, and it's really fun. Meditation's huge for happiness. I do it every single day, first thing in the morning. I wake up in the morning. On a good day, I don't check my cell phone. I go right to grabbing a glass of water with a little bit of Himalayan salt and some lemon juice. And then I have that water, I sit and I look at, I have a little clock in front of me so I know how much time has passed. I take 10 deep breaths or so, and then I let my thoughts go by and just really zone in and meditate for 10 to 15 minutes every single morning. It's huge. Like I said, also fishing in nature is like an active meditation as well. And probably my main thing for happiness is socializing. You know, I always reference that Harvard study, the longest one done on happiness. It says that your social connections are the number one indicator of happiness, you know, having great social relationships. So there's a few things I do. I love to go to meetups and events. We have marketing meetups I go to. My buddy just told me about a men's group that I went to. I like to get together with my friends for anything we can. Like I said, if a new movie is out, if we're watching a UFC, whatever it may be, any local event, something that sounds cool, I'm open-minded. Let's try it out. Let's get out there. I like to get around my friends. Another thing I'm doing now, because I just got a cool new house, is having more friends over. I used to have a really small studio apartment, but now I moved in with a great friend of mine, and we got a nice big house. So now we got a grill. We're going to be grilling and chilling, having friends over. I had a buddy over yesterday. We did a photo shoot out in my yard, which came out super cool, because photography is another one of my hobbies as well, too. And, having good people over. This afternoon, I just had lunch with a friend. I had somebody connect me with a local guy who's also a dating coach as well, too. We just got together for a couple hours, hit it off. So he'll be another great friend that I can get together with. So I love to just get together with friends. Either we go out somewhere or they come by now. So my house is built for socializing, which is cool. And I definitely spend a lot of time calling and texting friends. You know, unlike before where texting wasn't as relevant, now it is. So I'm always sending memes and checking in and seeing how my friends are doing. I just got off the phone with one of my best friends before I filmed this video. My family, friends. I think it's so important to keep in touch with those people that are not local, especially. Okay, so great friends are great friends. Doesn't matter. My best friend lives in Chicago. My other best friend lives in New York. My family lives back home in New Jersey. Right? It doesn't matter where they are. I'm gonna call. I'm gonna text them. I'm gonna stay in touch with them because it's just so important, especially when you get back together with them. You know, just keeping them on your mind. And that's one thing I'm really good at, is keeping in touch with really important people in my life. So I really love to do that. And one thing I put here, which is really cool, is a lot of my learning now is active, okay? Rather than me saying, oh, what's a new book I can read about this thing, which I do read books, trust me. I watch the YouTube videos for sure. But if I want to learn something, I like to hit up friends or ask them if they know somebody. I'd rather sit down with a buddy who's a marketing expert and have him give me advice on, specifically to my business, rather than me go and try to read 20 books to find the same information. Okay, I'd rather brainstorm with my buddies who are in good shape on how their diet's going to find out how to get in shape. I'd rather brainstorm with my friends, what they've been doing that's been working well in their lives, and that's where I get my ideas. I get my ideas from my clients. My students are great, and even in my Next Level Man group, guys share good things that they've done that have helped them a lot. And when I see people sharing that stuff and giving suggestions, I wind up taking that. So a lot of my learning is active now, which I prefer it to be because I love socializing. Socializing makes me the happiest. So I'd rather sit down and have a conversation or ask a friend. I ask for help a lot more now than I used to, right? So people love helping. Just like I love helping, People love helping. And another thing about me is I give a lot of value too, okay? You know, friends are always asking me for dating advice, and, you know, we talk about diet and marketing and whatever else, and happiness. And I'm an open book. I have a lot of knowledge. Like I still read, like I said, I watch the YouTube, and I get so much information from other people and their actual real life experience. The thing about socializing is you can get real life experience, and that's where you learn really deep lessons. So I get so much of that through my socializing that I have a wealth of knowledge to share with people. I keep an open mind, and I try to give as much value as I can. And yeah, so that's really cool. It's something that I do. And the last category is girls. Girls isn't a huge priority of mine as much as it used to be, because ego aside, I really don't have much to prove. But that being said, a cool point where I'm at is I do enjoy the company of a woman. So that being the case, I can just enjoy my skills that I built, and also stay active, right? If I'm going to teach you guys how to meet women, you better believe I'm a single guy doing it. You know, I know a lot of dating coaches that charge a lot of money. You know, some of them are even women that don't actually do what they're talking about, right? Or guys that have girlfriends or in relationships. You know, I know what it's like to be single nowadays, man. I go out there, I put in the work. And the day that I get a girlfriend and settle down and move on, I'll get other coaches to work for me, because I'll share the knowledge I have, but, you know, I like to stay active and really be a man of my word. So my goal now is at least 2 nights out, you know, not including my social activities. These are 2 nights out just to approach women. You know, I approach whoever's around to stay social, and then I make sure I approach the women that I find really attractive, and make sure I have some conversations with them. So I get at least 2 nights, those Friday, Saturday nights out. If it's one night, then it's one night. You know, I don't beat myself up about this as much anymore. This is more for fun now, which is really cool. I can go out and enjoy my skills and talk to girls that I'm attracted to, man. I don't need to worry so much about every little thing I'm saying. I'm at the point where there's not really much to learn anymore about my there's definitely no new techniques out there that I haven't really seen. So it's all about me just going out and maybe learning how to coach you guys better. That's about it. Dating apps, I've tried out the last couple of weeks while the weather's been a little cold. I haven't been wanting to go out as much, so sometimes only 1 night a week. So I've tried out the dating apps. They're not that great, man. You know, I've met up with a couple girls, but man, nothing beats the approaching. Honestly, I'm probably going to delete the dating apps in another month once it warms up here. I haven't been the biggest fan, even though my last profile's been pretty good, and I have a video on how to make a good profile, and I pretty much followed everything I said in the video, and it's worked pretty good. But I find there's much more attractive women in person, and gosh, the ghosting and the non-responses from the dating apps, no matter how fun and interesting you are, is very annoying. And then now I'm working on a social circle funnel. Like I said, having friends over, you know, now that I have a cool place to entertain, what I'll do is, if girls are cool, I could take their information, add them on Instagram, and stay in touch with them. Now invite them over to parties, which, you know, me and my roommate are very keen on. So every other week, you know, bare minimum once a month, we're going to have a party, invite people over, tell them to bring friends. So that's kind of my goal now. So I know this is a long video, but as you could see, my goals have changed from what they were before. You know, and feel free, as always, if you want to screenshot any of this to get some ideas. But like I said, my early 20s was more about changing who I was. I didn't want to be that guy I was. I hated who I was. So I would do whatever it took to get into shape, lose that 100 pounds, which I did, you know, make more money. I didn't have much money at all. I needed to educate myself like crazy, one of my main goals. I need to get good with girls, so I spent a lot of nights out, a lot of debriefing. And those are my main goals back then. And now as I've gotten older, you know, my main thing now is to make money and save money, which I do by, you know, eating paleo. You know, I cook all my food at home. I barely ever eat out. Every now and then I will, but making money, saving money, and then getting into investing. That'll be the next thing that I do is get really into investing. Where the heck did my coaching thing go? I guess it disappeared. Oh no, it moved over to here. Don't mind the malfunctions here. But making money, exercise is, oh my gosh, if you're not exercising, do it now. There's a zillion studies on it of how important it is. Research has shown it's anti-aging, it's your happiness, it works better than antidepressants for people who are depressed. I mean, exercise is medicine. one guy was saying. I mean, it cures almost everything. So it's so important. Plus, you look good and feel good. So that's it. Happiness is probably my largest goal of all these, because I know I'm always going to want more money. Always going to want to be in good shape. I'm always going to want to connect with either more girls or eventually, you know, one or so, you know, really great girl that I spend my time with. But happiness is really one of my biggest ones, you know. So having hobbies and things you do just for happiness. You know, with fishing, I'm not trying to impress girls, the nature, even, well, maybe the guitar. I post a video on that online, but especially with the meditation and this other stuff, I do it just for me, man. Like, do stuff for you that makes you happy and that you go for. If you have any questions, if you have any cool stuff that you do with your day that, you know, you'd like to get in there, and you know, if you have any questions on how I balance all this out, like I said, I get out on Friday, Saturday nights. I get out to socialize on Friday, Saturday nights. When I get with my friends, it's usually Saturdays, Sundays, or evenings. My work is usually morning, and so my exercise is in the afternoon. And yeah, this all fits very easily into my schedule, very easily and very comfortably, okay? If you don't have time, then move some things around, or think what distractions you have in your life, you know? I would love to see someone who says they don't have time to exercise and then look at their cell phone usage. I guarantee they're using their phone for 2-3 hours a day. And you're telling me you can't get to the gym, drive to the gym, work out for a half hour and come back. That's an hour, 3 times a week, you know? So you can make time for all this, but exercise that you can do that I told you guys to do at the beginning of the video is write these goals, man. Start here, okay? What are your main goals you want to accomplish in life? Like I said, mine is make money, be healthy, be happy, you know, date a little bit, right? These are main goals for me. And the cool thing about making money for me is with my coaching, I get to give value, because giving value is huge for me. And a big thing with my happiness and socializing is I give a lot of value to my friends as well. And that makes me really happy, right? So the only other category that I would add to this for myself is to give value, but I give value through my my socializing and through my work. So, you know, write your goals down, find out what they are. If you need help devising a game plan, just hit me in the comments below, man. I hope you enjoyed this video and got some insight into my life. And when you're ready here, I'll have the next video for you right on the side. Have a great week.